What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Road to Results podcast where we're all about uncovering the mindset journey. I'm Rye, that's Ray, and I'm Rye. Either way, you slice that pie. What's going on, y'all? As you can see, I am representing. I'm representing today hard for the faithful. All right, win or lose, I always stay faithful, and that is kind of what we wanted to talk to y'all today about, is just what it means to stay faithful while you're winning. Oh, there it is, while you're winning or losing. My what's going on, Ray, my guy?
Game
You
day,
can keep
bro.
it on
Game
if you want to. Hey, it's all love, you can keep it on.
That's more one of my display pieces. The one that I rock. That's it's you wear them for a while, man. Then they just comfy to your head. I mean, you more of a hat guy than I am. But you get the ones that you wear for a while, and they feel soft. This still got that crisp to it. I think my mom, my baby girl, got it for me one time when they went to the mall. So I keep that's a display. But yeah, rocking with them for what's 2020, bro? 30 years now. I was 10 years old when I jumped on the what people will call the Chiefs bandwagon.
Wow.
And that was actually because my grandma was a Niner fan, but Joe Montana had came over to the Chiefs.
He did.
So, and she was living with us. Yeah, so she was living with us, and I was watching it. I was like, kids, I'm like, I'm a Chiefs fan, and that was it, man. That was that's the outside of committing my life to Christ, man. That's probably the most wholehearted decision I made in my life.
And I'll be honest, I remember that transition, bro. I remember when Joe Mo left to KC. Like, my heart, I was torn. I was like, am I gonna start rocking KC? Right? It was just like, I don't know. But yeah, nonetheless, that's crazy, bro. 30 years. You've been a fan, and I always tell people, because again, I'm out here in South Carolina, so I'm repping this Spirit Week, bro, every single day. Again, win or lose, we staying faithful to the Bay, faithful to the fans, and again, this is something that it's not just football, it's life, and I say that in the sense of, what does it mean to be faithful? Right. And what does it mean to be faithful to yourself, to your community? What does it mean to be faithful in so many different ways that are going to continue to just keep you on the right path? So yeah, bro, it's I'm excited. Again, I'm excited for the teams that are in, and I'm excited to see who takes it to the bowl. Nonetheless, all the teams are great and fun to watch. If we're talking football, if we're going to be on that for 2.2 seconds, but I do just appreciate. Again, I feel like, Lions, right? They got momentum. That's the one thing they got right now, but they got momentum. You coming out of a 32-year, dry streak, and now you coming in hot. Like, I gotta respect that. I think some of us could relate to that. Some of our audience, some of our viewers, y'all could probably relate to, maybe you haven't done something for so long or been in a situation for so long. And the moment you start picking up that momentum, the moment you start like seeing results, hashtag Road to Results podcast, you start seeing results, that momentum and that energy hits different. It hits different. So I feel like they're just like at that clump, coming to that peak, man. What are your thoughts, bro?
I mean, being a team that, and this is now people, how quickly you can lose perspective of that. And shout out to Quest, and shout out to Miss Rosalie Thomas. Thank you for being here on this beautiful Sunday morning.
Yes.
Yeah, it's being a fan of a team that hadn't won like a playoff game in like 24 years before they actually, won. Like, you almost get used to losing, and it's like it's good enough to get to that point. Like, hey, I just remember like, yo, we made it to the playoffs as a wild card. You'd be like, hey, we did it. Hey, this is a good season. But even with that, man, like it was. We'd always be like middle of the pack draft picks, so we never had like the top 10 pick. And then, it's just one of those things. Like, we were just happy to be middle of the pack, and I think that's like the Lions have been, worse than that, because they've had quality draft picks after every losing season. They've had like the top talent. They just weren't managed well. you were talking about earlier, like, hey, stewarding things well. But for them to come in, man, for them to build the way they've built and them to come up, yeah, it's a great Cinderella story. I just don't, I'll be a enemy of America for a minute and be like, they ain't beating the Niners, bro. They ain't beating the Niners. Golf
Hey,
go,
well,
golf in this championship game.
let's let's see. Yeah, yeah, let's see. So but yeah, man, I mean, again, right, we're here in, man, bro, it's almost been a year since we started this podcast. Almost been a year, and we have definitely been through a lot of ups and downs. We've done a lot where like the target was clear, we knew the steps, we hit the target, and then there were other times where like we had the target and then we got like blindsided by so many different things, or something called life. Yeah, life was life in, and just all the different ways that what we've experienced in the last almost year in recording a pod,
Yeah,
and we're really just documenting our results, our mindset, and what were the things that we've learned and picked up along the way. And then in the mastermind, we were talking about like mind mapping recently. Like right now, we're back in this phase of really breaking things down. Like, what are the top targets? What are the top priorities? And then breaking that down, like after you get your top, let's say top three things that you want to accomplish, whether it's this quarter, whether it's this year, and then mind mapping it out in the sense of like, okay, now let's reverse engineer, or let's break that down into bite-sized pieces and steps, and then really have something measurable, have something that you can actually attain, right? We're talking about those SMART goals. But something
yeah,
you alluded to earlier that we talked about right before we recorded or started recording was you were talking about decisions
yeah,
and transitions.
yeah,
So take us there. Like when we think about wherever you're at, whatever your top three priorities are, right? Y'all know I don't really use the word goals. So whatever your top three priorities are, your top three targets are, it all starts with a decision. And that decision, it might look like, or may require, which a lot of times it does, some type of transition. So
yeah,
Ray, if you could just take us through the mindset there for you with whatever is brewing on your heart and on your mind.
yeah, man. It was like something I said a while back. I don't know if it was like in my breaking formation course or something, but it's always been in that spot. We've talked about it a couple of times too. Like the hardest part of anything that you do and decide to do is in that transition. And we've talked about, from the literal sense. Okay, if you're working out, we see the videos. You're out there hitting that squat, hitting them cleans. Like the hardest part isn't putting yourself in the position. So you're like, okay, hey, you're mind mapping. You're putting yourself in position. You're writing down what it is that you want to do. But it's in the transition to get into that mindset and to get into those habits of doing it. That is the hardest part with anything. So you throw that weight on your back, like I'm prepared to get these gains, prepared to do what I do. The moment you lower yourself and go below parallel, the transition to go from there back up, back in that growth power, back in what's going to challenge you and your muscles to fire, that's the hardest part. And that's anything. So as you go and you start creating these goals, and like, they call them SMART goals, and you have to write them down: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Well, you have to write these things down, and you have to be clear on all those things because it's not natural to you. It's not in that subconscious competence realm yet for you. Like the things that you do, when I say that, it's the things that you do naturally without truly having to think about it. So these are things you have to write down. You have to be very specific, because if you don't, it seems confusing. It can be too much. It can be overwhelming. Like I'm over here. What do you want to do? I want to be a multimillionaire by the end of the year. Okay, let's make this more bite-sized, as you said. Let's increase this year or in this month by 1,500. Let's go there. If you're not in the six figures already, let's back up. Not saying
Let's
that's
go
not
five. High
still a
five.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's back it up a little bit, and let's increase where we're at a little bit. So, and then when I'm talking about decisions, I think sometimes, like when we're writing down these SMART goals or things that you need to do, it's well, should I do this or should I do that? I don't know. And we go and we get 13 people's opinion on where we should start. When realistically, bro, it is better that you decide than on what you decide.
Mm,
It's just better that you decide than on what you decide. You're never going to know if you made the right decision until you've worked your way through it. Yes, you
that's
can
right.
be in the presence of wise counsel, but you still have to work it. You still have to work the plan. You still have to go through it. So everything that you're doing through this, as you continue to grow, as you write down your goals, and as you start making the steps necessary, and as you start filtering out your Fab Five, the people in your community, the five people the five people you spend the most time with is who you're likely to be. You are the average of those five. As you can start to filter that, start making, you know, addition by subtraction, taking those out that aren't really adding value, that you're not adding value to, or they don't want to receive it, and them adding value to you, it's a decision.
Mm,
And every time you make a decision, there's a transition that happens in your life. And those are the hardest parts. Whatever it is, you're between jobs, you're between homes. Like, bro, I'm going to be moving here soon, bro. I'm not thinking about being out of this, bro. I'm thinking about the move. Like, okay, space. Where's furniture going to go? Am I going to have to get storage? The transition, that middle part in between those two experiences, that's where the complicated pieces are. Whether you've been in a relationship and one ended and now you're getting ready to, whatever is happening between now and the next time that you get one, like, okay, that's growth. Like, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What do I need to improve? Getting familiar with self, whatever it is, there's a
yeah.
transition period that's typically the most difficult.
Let me pause you. Let me pause you for 1 second because I love you on a roll right now. But let me ask
Pause.
you this. Let me ask you this. So you make a decision, and again, I love the fact that just making decisions are gonna let you know either they're the right ones or not. You'll know off top. Like,
Yeah.
make the decision, you go with it. If it doesn't work and it wasn't the best decision, probably wasn't the right one. If it does work, or if it is working, then you'll know. But it doesn't happen until you make a decision. So we always say that time and time again. Just make a decision. But number two, what I
Yeah.
want to ask you though. So when you're in transition, whether it's intended or unintended, meaning whether it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
something planned or not planned, because life's right. Like, what is the mindset that you have, like when you're in that icky, gunky, like, oh, I gotta now like transitioning in or out of something, and it's like all the things that you just mentioned. Like, what's the mindset for you, like that keeps you, focused or that keeps you
Yeah.
productive? What would you say to our folks out there who are going through all these transitions, but mentally, emotionally, right? Maybe they're drained or they're going through it or don't have even the proper mindset. What would you say to that?
The I think that the most difficult parts is when you're in those unintended transitions. But it's the same for the intended ones, because sometimes we make some intentional changes and we weren't the right people to embrace that change and that transition. This is why we talk about, the road to results, uncovering the mindset journey. Like, it is the mindset, like the way that your mind is set is the way that you're going to respond. So are you going to react or are you going to respond? I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with your emotional intelligence.
Intelligence, all
Are you going
EQ.
to react or are you
Yep,
going to respond?
that's it.
So what's my response to this transition? Whether it's unintended or intended. And just understand, like, I think the biggest piece, and this is not being negative and this is not being in that space, but anytime there is change, anytime there's a transition, wholeheartedly embrace that it's going to be uncomfortable. For you to expect otherwise is what's going to cause you to fail. It can be exciting and it can be uncomfortable. We say it all the time. Two things can be true at once.
Mm,
It's going to be uncomfortable and it can be exciting. It can also be uncomfortable and nerve-wracking in the sense that it was unintended and I don't know what's coming. But as long as you understand that, yes, this is going to be uncomfortable, but this is a temporary experience if I'm willing to work through it, and you're able to work through it when you're in the right community with people that can lift you up and give you guidance instead of having that pity party with you and just blaming everything else. Because now we're having accountability of how did you get here? What
mm,
adjustments do I need to make to move forward? But just understand, on either side of it, it's going to be uncomfortable. And if you can embrace that, accept that, and be like, okay, but this is a temporary experience because now I got to build the competence and confidence to navigate through this season, you're going to be okay. But to expect that you and I, or those that are in the space and continue to do the personal development, they grow. Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature. Luke 2:52. He continued to grow. You have to continue to grow because what you're going to encounter, you can't plan for. You can't always plan for.
Yeah.
But if you have the mindset to understand that anything new that I encounter, a change of plans, a transition in this road, a detour on the road to results. Bro, I thought I was just going to be on this highway for the next 90 miles. Detour ahead. Hey,
Road
sometimes you
closed.
just
Road closure.
sometimes you just come up on them cones and that sign, like you're like, where did this come from? And you have to
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
It's just a detour. But if you're prepared to make that little roundabout that might add some extra time, you might have to consume some extra gas. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But whether you
Facts.
planned for it or it was unintended, it's gonna be uncomfortable because you're not familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and just, what you said earlier when you were talking about writing down the goals or being, conscious of what you want to do, what the next steps are, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It might be something new to you. And then you used an analogy earlier of, my weightlifting or back squatting, for example. And so I'm starting to get my legs straight. Hey, your boy is starting to get his legs back. I'm gonna just say that right now. Your boy is starting to feel strong again. You feel me? A 40 plus year old in the gym squatting with these youngsters. But then you said below parallel, right? And then you're like, how do we? What's the mindset? Even the mindset, even getting the bar off the rack. So for those who do
Yeah.
follow me on any socials, I just recently, yesterday, I was going for a heavy single. It was heavy single Saturday. And so I was like, all right, I got 415. I've been doing like 425 these last couple weeks. And I was like, let me go ahead and just push it a little bit. Now, granted, it's not like a lifetime PR because I still got, some room, but I went for 455. All right, went for 455, loaded it up. And here was the difference, Ola, and this is what I want people to catch. Normally, I have like one knee sleeve in because my right knee's a little messed up from that Spartan race. I have my belt. That's like kind of a norm. Once I get past a certain weight, I'm always putting on a weight belt, probably like past 350. Usually is when I start putting the belt on. I try not to wear a belt a lot, especially early on, because you want to build that core, y'all. So if y'all squatting, make sure you build that core. Don't rely just on the belt. But the one thing that I added, if people notice my videos, was I added knee wraps. All right, so I have these knee wraps that I haven't used in a long time, but I put on the knee wraps on purpose intentionally because I knew I was going to need that additional support.
I'm
I
glad you
was going
went
to
there.
need that additional support. I have it in the bag. I always bring it with me, but I don't use them all every single time. But I knew consciously, I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to put up something I haven't put up in a long time. I'm going to go for this heavy single, 455. Let me make sure that I have the reinforcements. So
Yeah.
I wrapped it up, and bro, it was, and like if there's actual an art. Number one, if y'all get knee wraps, please be careful with those. Okay, because some people don't even know how to wrap their knees, and they actually can make it worse. So there's actually a technique to wrapping the knees, to making sure you're getting above and below, to make sure you get that range of motion. But the other piece, right now, I was telling myself, I was like, oh, you know what, like mentally, like I've been here before. I've been here before. And my mindset going into every time I lift, whether it's a back squat, clean and jerk, snatch, my mindset is attack the bar, attack the bar, attack the bar. That's what I'm telling myself every single time, attack the bar. And I'm always putting myself in that. And for me, mentally, I'm like, yo, they did what to Danielle? They did what to Aja? Oh no, they didn't. Like I always put myself in a place like you did what to my wife? You did what to my kid? Nah, now Savannah coming in the picture like you did. No, you did. Like that's the mindset. If we keep it in
This
a
this
buck,
is this is all mental.
this all mental. Before
Hey,
I
so
even
just real quick,
grab the bar.
just just before we move forward, I got two things. First one's not so serious, but I just want, hey, just pay attention to like personality side. The flight attendant, he over here, doing what Jordan did, like making up stories. You what you say? Like what
You
you
did
say?
what?
Hey, pilots, like we deal in facts. I gotta go to something real, like something that happened or something that's happening. Like I can't be making up stories. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Over here making up this stuff. So that's just a random stuff. But what you said, and I wanted you to finish. So you said, bro, you grew out of the knee wraps for to do what? To provide what?
Additional support.
Okay. So we talk about the people. So again, we've talked about this several times. And it's the people that you spend the time with. So the people that you're looking to support with. So if you're new or you're aspiring or you're going to a different level in your entrepreneurial journey and your growth journey, whatever it is that you're trying to do, even in relationships, like you want to spend time. I don't know if Quest is still on, but you want to spend time that with people if you're going to get married or you're newlywed, with people that have experience that have successful relationships to glean from them so that you continue to grow, so you can have that the right support. Because you said you can get the knee wraps, but if you don't do it right, it can,
It
what'd
can
you
make it
say,
worse.
Cosmo? It can
Yeah,
make it worse. So
I know
I
people
want to
who got
go
injured. They injured themselves because they
because of it.
improperly wrapped
So I
it.
want to ask you. I want to ask our road dogs. What up, sis? Melissa Thomas. I
Yeah,
want to ask her family. A, are the 5 people that you have that you spend the most time with, are they supporting you or are they restricting you? Instantly, as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, because it's too restrictive. It's supposed to add additional support. If you wrap it wrong, it's too restrictive. So now you're forcing yourself to go below parallel. You're having to break the restriction to go down. So you're almost adding additional pressure from the weight that's on your back to push past these restrictive things, which causes your tendons to overwork and snap.
that's it.
So are the people that are around you, are they supporting you in getting this weight off your back or are they restricting you?
I love it. I love it. I
Bro, that's
love
what,
it.
as soon as the thing I heard, and like I said, man, that is a decision. That is a
I
decision to keep those in your life. Okay,
and,
I'm gonna pause.
and no, no,
I'm
you're
pause.
good. And I'm gonna go off of that too. And as you're again, so for those of you just jumping on, we're talking about how yesterday I went for a heavy single squat yesterday, putting the knee wraps on. If you do it wrong, you get actually injure yourself. But here's the thing that we got to catch too. I only brought them out because I knew I was going to go heavy. I brought the knee wraps out, right? Because I knew I needed additional support because what I was about to put on my back, I haven't done in a long time. And so we can use that analogy if you're trying to get to another level, somewhere you haven't been or somewhere you haven't been in a long time, making sure you have the correct support. I love Ray said the people. And I'm going to go ahead and go another direction, which is supplemental and complements this. So do you have the people? And then also, do you have the systems in place? Do you have the tools in place that's going to help you get to the next level? Because I looked at my knee wraps from my perspective, like, yo, this is an additional tool. Use as needed because, yo, you about to do some stuff. Man, I ain't gonna lie, right? It was like kind of like lightweight prime time in the gym. So I wasn't trying to fail on this squat, right? Like it was, you know how it goes, bro. Like I'm loading it up. And all of a sudden I was like, all right, 455 on the bar, mindset, attack the bar, got the knee wraps in. I mean, there's a whole process. I literally have a time in between each squat. I look at my heart rate before I even start wrapping my knees. I unwrap after every squat when they're heavy, just because you want to relieve the pressure and then create pressure. It's a whole process. So I went on there, chalked the bar up. People look at me crazy when I chalk the bar on a back squat. But let me tell y'all, if y'all back squat and you have chalk, if it's available, please chalk the bar. And here's why I say that. Chalk it because you need grip for your hands when you're holding the weight in place, so you ain't wobbly wobble. And then also, if the bar, like if you're someone and you don't like wear like clothing and all that, and you got like sweaty skin, you don't want that bar moving. You don't want 455 plus pounds on your back shaking. And please use clips. Sorry, y'all. I'm just in a whole nother mindset.
All
But
right.
anyways, what ended
Now
up
we
happening was
just in
attacked the
gym
bar,
etiquette.
did all the things, you right? Did all the things. And then I went down for one, bruh. It felt so good. I was like, let's do another one. So I went for two. So what ended up being heavy single Saturday turned into a heavy double Saturday, and I hit 455 for a double, both below parallel. All right, so if you want to watch the vid, it's on there. All this to say, life is gonna get heavy. Decisions need to be made. Transitions are going to happen. Do you have the correct support for this season in your life? Do you have the correct tools? Do you have the correct information? Do you have the right processes and systems? And again, we're not just talking business, but we're talking life. Like Ray and I, we
Yeah.
have our, outside of these conversations with y'all, like bro, it's like our check-ins, like, bro, we going through it, and just in different ways as fathers, me as a husband, right? For us as children of our parents, like all the things. So just know that having that tool bag or having those tools and having the people and knowing how it can be mutual. And I think that's the other piece around it. Like Ray said, we don't do pity parties with each other. We do, hey man, it's hard right now. Okay. Let me know how I could help. Like, okay, let's look forward. Like we always say, look forward, not backward. Or, let's not stay in the backward. Let's look forward. And so yeah, I think that's just really a self-reflection question that I'll pose to everyone out here today that's watching is like, yo, are you in a space? Are you, in a space where you can actually see who's restricting you and who's supporting you when life gets heavy? Who is the chalk in your life that's helping keeping things stable? Who is, what I'm saying, your weight belt that's keeping your core strong? Because I don't care how strong your legs are or your back is, but if your core is weak, you ain't doing nothing. The core is the most underestimated like piece when it comes to Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like really like what are the things that you have to add on, and do you know when to add them on? And do you know how to add them on, right? Like there's just all the things, bro, that we were talking about. And just before I shoot it back over to you, bro, like shout out to Jessica Holly, right? Make the vision, ride a plane. We had the opportunity to be guest speakers for her webinar. And what was our topic? Reset,
Reset.
reset, right there, right? The vision. Make a plan. I love the journal, man. If y'all don't have, I'll make sure to put a link in the description box. But yeah, so while you're thinking about transitions, while you're in these phases and seasons of your life on your road to your results, we're looking now. Notice how Ray and I are talking next level and like how we're looking at all the details now and how all the different details make a difference. But Ray is saying don't get stuck in the details. Don't get stuck in those transitions. Don't get stuck in making a decision. Do it right. Do it right now. That's all I gotta say, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it, man. You got a question. We got some people on this, but if you got a question about that, I think it's so important that we understand the fact, and I've said it before, and I say it from the stance of one of the transitions that I'm going through right now is because I've made decisions too quickly. But that is a natural thing with pilots, but recognizing that, making some adjustments, and adding some of the data and the details, but still making decisions and still making them rather quickly. I'm just adding something that I wasn't necessarily the most comfortable with because it would bore me, but it's necessary. Those that have too many details and that want more, because they're like, yo, the devil's in the details. Yeah, okay. But the devil can be the details if you need to make a decision and move forward. This is the part, and it's nothing new. Not making a decision is a decision. When you get into the analysis paralysis, you're indecisive because you have too much information or not enough because you want more and more and more. Remember, it's more important that you decide than what you decide. Because not making a decision is a decision. And a lot of times we don't look at it that way when we're in that indecisive phase and we're just like, you know what, never mind. That's a decision. Never mind is a decision. I changed my mind is a
It's
decision.
a decision. It's a decision. It's
I
all a
know what I
decision.
said. I know what I said, but is a decision.
Is a decision.
And if you're you know that you're in a space like that. You know that you have those habits. Again, who's in your community? What support do you have?
Mm.
In those moments, that's when I do need to throw on that belt. I need to throw my belt of truth.
Belt of truth. Come on, let's go. Armor of God, let's go. Helmet of salvation. Come on. Sandals of readiness.
uh,
Sword of the
it,
spirit. No, you're right. You're
right.
right.
It's like that's when I need to do it. Because, I mean,
And let me just and even while you're there, right? Like, let's talk about that. Like, so knowing our number one, what support you need, and then more importantly, like who do so like in your circle, who do you go to for that support, right? And I think that's a great way to frame your system. And it was crazy. I was looking through because part of the EXP model, we get to build teams. And so I'm like, oh, I'm all about it. I'm ready to, do some agent attraction. I'm ready to uplift and build agents, mindset, accountability, all the things. And there you go. Come on, represent, bro. And I was looking at one of the companies I was in back in the days in '05, '04. I had like top recruiter, number two non-RMD cash. I was like, the little plaques that they give every time you have these conferences. But one thing that I found, I wish I should have brought it. Oh, it's right here. The one thing that I found that was just a reminder for me as a high flight attendant, which is important, is this right here. All right, this is the leadership format system. BK1789 was my agent code. But bro, look at what it says right there. You run the system,
and the system builds your business.
And the system
like
builds your business. Bam. Reminder, I was successful. Why? I was my flight attendant self, but I had a system. So my invitation to all of us, and you talked about as a pilot, you move fast, sometimes a little too fast. So where you got, so for me as a flight attendant, for all of my flight attendants out there, a trap, I'm gonna say this right now, a trap that we have naturally is the trap of infatuation. The trap of infatuation. I'm going to say that. I'm going to be real clear. Trap of infatuation. Because I'm very clear with the goals and the targets. And as I'm on that road, there are other things, and I'm not going to call it shiny object syndrome. I call it infatuation because then when you really see something and you get infatuated with it, as a high flight attendant, I'm going to just take a slight little, turn here, a little detour and get infatuated. And then all of a sudden, what does it equate to? Lost time. Lost time. And in my case, my bad, come on. There. I'm trying to, there you go. In my lost time, lost resources, affected relationships, maybe lost credibility. So for all my high flight attendants out there, or high eyes, if you are familiar with the disc profile, know that having clarity, of course, and having a vision and having the system is, I think this right here for reals is what's gonna keep us on the straight and narrow. But the infatuation, man, that is something it's a trap that I've went down so many times. Danielle will tell you all the things that I see, and I hate that you just do something, you don't finish it, or you start and you stop, or you're really into it, and now you're not into it. And that's for me, that's how I've gotten into a lot of trouble, or went backwards, or dug myself into a hole. Right, full transparency, fam. Like that, part of my personality was the gift and the curse. Right, all depending on how you. But now I got the dimmer switch. Now the dimmer switch is clear, and here's the other key. I got not only the dimmer switch, but there's people in my life, number one, Danielle, who have access to that dimmer switch. And now I'm like full control, like, okay, she's there, bring it down, I'm bringing it down. Turn it up, turn it up. Hey, pull back, right? Pull it like. And so do you even, number one, recognize your own dimmer switch? Number two, do you have people that have access to that you trust? And so like even with Ray, like I'll go to Ray for very specific things because he has a very specific gift and skill set. So I'm not going to come to him just like I do talk to him about feelings. I ain't gonna lie. I try to get feelings out of him a lot, but nonetheless, when it's time,
I've been getting better.
He's getting better. But it is one of those things where it's like, nah, I'm gonna ask him direct, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Or like, tell me what's your reaction to this? And he'll like lay out this whole full blown planned question. I don't know if it's the military background, business mindset, whatever it is his coaching background, but like he brings all the perspectives that I don't have. And that to me is a form of him having access to even my dimmer switch, because it slows me down or it makes me think all the other things that I'm not thinking of, and that helps me. I'm like, okay, is that infatuation or is that really in alignment?
Yeah. Let's do. I mean, okay. So write the vision, make it play. So we're talking Habakkuk 2:2. So let's go scripture, but let's go flight assessment. Let's put those 2 and 2 together. So let's break it down. We're talking about if you're having, you're like, okay, I know that I want something. I know I want to do this. When I go to write, I don't know. It doesn't make sense when I'm writing it down. Okay. So those 5 people, the people that are in there, if you are familiar with the assessment, those personality styles, the DISC, the flight, whatever one that you're familiar with, look like, hey, what did Ryder say? Like, so find the right people to help you get clarity in that. So when you say write the vision, if you're like, I know, I just can't write it, like, I'm not really sure, get someone just get a flight attendant and have a conversation with him. If you can record it, or if you can have a pilot around you, have them around you, because they're gonna push away all that fluff. And so have a conversation, because they truly want to know, and they truly want to have that experience. Okay, so what does that look like, right? Like, Rye will stop me and be like, hey, hold up, pause. Like, you just blew past him. I'm like, I didn't blow past anything. And he's like, nah, you said this. What did you mean by that? How does that make you feel? So when you have that conversation, it starts to become very plain. Then you have a pilot that's telling you what to write specifically so that you can run to it. And then you bring in that you need to know who, not how. Who do I need? What support do I need to accomplish these goals? And it may be something that you don't have. So you have the flight attendant. Let's talk it out. Let's talk about this experience. What does it look like? The pilot, because I'm going to see the big picture. And I know I want to get you from here to here. We're not necessarily going to get into all the details, but now you have that Melissa Thomas, that air traffic control, the systems. Not only are they going to help you write the very specific steps, but they're going to give you the milestones that you need to hit, the gauges of what you need to do. And then you need the support. Because if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, we go together. So, hey, bro, the book, the good book, the word. It's write the vision, make it plain. But you can't take that in itself. It was all about love and community. It was all about people. It was all about everybody else. What you do isn't for you. It's for the love of others. Love thy neighbor. What is that's right. The first command is love
God before
love thy
all
Father.
Things. Yep.
And then the next one,
love your neighbor as yourself.
The most important. So if you write the vision, we're not doing it from a selfish aspect. We're doing it for this, but now you're bringing in other people because you're loving them, so that it's reciprocated. But you take these personalities and, bro, don't be asking a pilot to give you details. But if you want the big picture, I'm going to give that to you. But now you start knocking it down to those bite-sized chunks. You get that ATC to help you. Okay, let's digest this.
And I'm going to pause that real quick. I love that, because what we could do also, and here's a little hack. If we, like you said, don't ask the pilot for the details, but what you can do, and what I would recommend is when you do talk to someone with a high pilot personality, you can ask them, okay, where did you get this plan?
Yeah.
Who helped you come up with it?
God.
And then they give you that information. Then you can go and do all the homework that you need to do on the back end and not be draining of a pilot, right? Because I feel like that's just learned, through time. And just to even keep it more plain, because you talk about the scripture, I was like, hold on, bro. Like, hold on, it's Sunday, Hey,
we got it. We got it.
Matthew 28, bro. Matthew 28. What did he say? Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations. That's it. That was the go. Make it plain. Just go. 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 Take out the E and just go, right? Like, no ego, just go. Go make disciples. That's it. And he sent them out as a crew. He did this as, the Great Commission. When we think about it, 2 by 2, because he never wanted nobody to be alone. And then when you look at the personality styles, if you break down the skill sets of every single person that was there in that Great Commission, the 12, like imagine, God knew what he was doing. So we got to just really like mimic that, because you get the learned, then you get the ones full of zeal, then you get you get all the folks who, all the different personality styles work together. And that's how we make disciples of all nations. Because we can speak to each and every single, we can connect. Let me reframe that. We can connect, not speak. We can connect heart to heart, spirit to spirit with those like-minded, those like-spirited. And I feel like that's where the power is. And that's the beauty of being, again, part of the bigger church, is that it's so universal. But yeah, man, now you definitely, yeah, I'm just going to keep it at that.
Yeah, I'm good, man. It is a good start to the day. So, hey, just remember, y'all, it's decisions and transitions. With every decision you make, good, bad, or indifferent, the secondary effect of that is a transition.
Mm.
If you're going to make a decision, expect a transition. You can plan for one. We can have everything written down, but, the cause and effect, the response to that decision, you truly never know where it's going to be. But just understand that it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's okay. That's part of growth. It's part of the journey. That's part of the road to results.
That's it.
And we all hit it. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, and I'm just going to, say win or lose, stay faithful. And what I'm saying stay faithful to is not necessarily your decision, or don't stay faithful to do, to the transition. Stay faithful to what's bigger than that, which is the vision. Stay faithful to the vision. And I think this is where a lot of people get hung up, is they stay faithful to the decision. Like, be committed to that thing. Like, be committed. When you make a decision, commit to it. But that doesn't mean you have to stay faithful to it, meaning, because what if it's not serving you? And what if it's not the right decision? Like we said, you're going to figure that out. So don't stay faithful. Don't stay faithful to the decisions that don't serve you. Stay faithful to the vision. And just like what Ray and I were able to share with Jessica Holly's crew this past week, if you need to reset, you got to reset. And we went over a couple different types of reset. You got the daily reset. You got the reset for the new year reset. I mean, we went in on there. It was the duo. The duo came in, and God was using us for sure. But, so wherever you're at, stay faithful to the vision that God put on your heart. Start recognizing the things and the people that God needs you to see and be a part of an experience, so that you can, have your systems in place, and then you can get in alignment with all the people, and more importantly, making sure it's a mutual relationship, because that's the only way it's going to grow. And yes, every decision is going to have a transition. There's no way around it. Like, it's just a way to get to these results. And that's where I'm at today. Is just, stay faithful to the vision that God put on your heart. And when you can do that through the ups and downs, it's so much beautiful on the other side. So much beautiful on the other side. All right, Ray, any last final thoughts, bro, before we wrap this one up?
I felt like we were landing, and then you said stay faithful to the vision, and I was like, oh,
go for it. Come on, close it out. Close it out.
I feel like this. I feel like you gonna feel this. I know you're gonna feel this, because Helen Keller said, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight with no vision."
Mm.
Some of y'all being faithful to blindness. Some of y'all being faithful to somebody else's sight and no vision.
Mm.
You have no idea where you're going. You have no idea why you're going there. You have no idea what's next. You just faithful to absolute confusion and chaos. but you don't know any better. But if you listen to this, you do. You do know better. So if you don't have your own vision, adopt someone else's that is in a space and place in life. Not with all the details, but that's in a space and place in life that you would like to be. From a spiritual aspect, from a relational aspect, from business, physically, whatever, you can adopt their vision for a little bit. But it has to become your own. But stop being faithful to, stop being faithful to darkness. Stop being faithful to blindness.
Mm.
Because it's not leading you. And it can be leading you somewhere, but you have no idea where you're going. You're just walking through the dark.
The trap of infatuation.
Bruh.
The trap of
Go,
infatuation.
you just go. Yeah. Yeah. So make the decision. If you're in an area and you have no idea where you're going, you're in that phase of confusion. I don't know why my life is this way. I don't know why things keep happening this way. I don't know why I keep going on. Take accountability, take ownership for that piece. Start writing your vision. Even if you don't understand it at first, the very first thing that you can do is write. Speak it out. God hovered over the waters and said there was chaos. He spoke. He spoke and brought it all together. Speak, write it down. Help yourself get that clarity on it so you can stop being confused, so you have an idea of what the first step it is that you need to take. We said it on Jessica Holly's. In the Bible, it doesn't say take a leap of faith. Take a step. Hey, follow me. Just take that step. Step into your faith. Write the vision, make it plain, for he who sees it can run to it. The only way you can run is you got to take the first step. You got to walk. So stop trying to leap and skip all these things. Just take a step. What you said that you want in your life, what you said you want, and it is a decision to take that step in the next one, in the next one. But with every step, you're transitioning into a new season. And that season eventually will begin to look like what it is you had in mind. But the details, those are probably going to start looking a little different. Because what you had in mind may not be what he had in his. But you have to trust and you have to walk in that faith to make those decisions every single day to create the life you want. But hey, fatigue does happen. It's okay. Remember, decisions and transitions.
Love it. Love it. And Melissa, shout out to Melissa T. All right, here's a reflection question. All right, for everybody here. Are the goals in your vision yours, or did someone else or some circumstances influence you to claim them as yours?
One of my first coaching clients, man.
So good.
Bro, we started working together. He wanted to work on, for real estate. And I was like, okay, if you just want to talk about that, I won't work with you. Like, I want to know why you want it. Started digging into the why, the root of what he wanted for his life and all this. Bro, by the time, like, we were in our second or third month, my guy was in med school. He was in med school. By the time we were getting towards the end of our second, or maybe it was our third month, he was like, Ray, I don't even want to be a doctor. And to Melissa's point, my mom was a doctor and my dad was a doctor. So when I was 6, I said I wanted to be a doctor. And then we started talking about what did he want in life? What did he have in vision for him and his wife? They didn't have any kids. What do you have in vision for your kids? And he's like, I don't want to be a doctor. Some of these decisions happened. Bro, I said, I became a Chiefs fan because grandma liked Joe Montana. Now it's worked out well for me now. But again, to Melissa's point, are the goals in your vision yours? Capital YOURS. Or did someone else or some circumstance influence you to claim them as yours? And the circumstances don't have to be negative and they don't have to be positive. They can be either or, they can be neutral. But if you just start digging back to why do I even want this? Why is this a vision of mine?
Come on, man. You so this is a whole nother pod. We going underneath the underneath. We talked about that on Tuesday. What's underneath the
The
underneath?
underneath.
And if
Yeah.
you're willing to take the journey, we talked about this last at the summit. If you're willing to take the journey to start unpacking how you got to where you are today, again, with all the different tools and all the different ways from journaling, reflection, using the assessment, and just tracing all the way back. How did you get here? And unpack that and realize that there's something underneath the underneath. Then you get clarity like your client. So what ended up happening? Did he decide to? What did he do?
Well, yeah, he's gonna finish. He's gonna finish med school.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, he started investing in real estate. I actually met him for the first time in person at the Next Level Speakers Academy when we were all there.
Right on.
For that. Yeah, because he showed up to that. So, him and his wife, they got a podcast and stuff now. Yeah, just hold it. But I mean, he's going to finish med school.
He's using the means from his medical career to fund his investments.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, but
love
it was,
love it.
Yeah, man, it was just, I was like, because I mean, obviously I dig and it's okay. Why do you want this? Okay, blah, blah, blah. But when he's like, I don't even want to be a doctor. At first, in my spirit, I was like, man, my bad. Like, I can't be convincing. Did I do this to you? And he was like, no, I decided to against him this point. He's like, I don't think I ever really thought about it. It was at a very early age that I was like, this is what mom and pops do. I'm going to do it too. And then his academic career was solely focused on that piece because he goes to a very prominent medical. He goes to Johns Hopkins.
Yeah.
So he was going to like his entire life like had been decided again up to that point where now he's in med school and I think he's in his third year.
But you just help free someone up to go from rich to wealthy. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you just help my man go from rich to wealthy. And if y'all are stuck on the difference and, really think about that, like my man he's on track to make some bread, which he'd probably be very rich, but will he be wealthy? And you just helped him unlock that. So, all right, y'all, listen, we are going into all different kinds of good things. Stay tuned because we got way more. Again, we are getting close to wrapping up the first year of recording these podcasts that stemmed and are rooted from being in the mastermind under the leadership of Dr. Eric Thomas and Associates, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. So nothing but love, respect for all of the folks that we are continuing to grow with, all the ways that we've grown and developed. And we're just, again, this is just chapter 1. So we're excited to have you on this road to our results, to your results. And we definitely got way more in store for you. So stay tuned. Again, this is that Kobe year. All right, Kobe year, I think it's been 4 years. Just recently, we had his 4-year death anniversary. So y'all stay obsessed. All right, stay obsessed with work ethic. Continue to be faithful to your vision, the one that God put on your heart, and allow us to just be able to pour into you the way that we want to, is just get you the results that you deserve. So, all right, y'all, we're out here. Like we always say, don't just go with us. Grow with us.
Grow with us. Go Chiefs.
All right,
go Chiefs.
Let's
win,
go Niners.
Lose or win. Go Chiefs.
Win, lose, or draw, bruh. Stay faithful.
No, ain't no draws.
Love y'all.
Ain't no draws.
Love y'all.
Win, lose, or win.
Peace.